Hello, everyone, and welcome to Graceful Connections presented by Academy for the Soul. I'm your host, Sophie Bidar, and the co-creator of Graceful Connections, together with Christel Hughes, founder of Academy for the Soul, the online school for intuitive arts. Graceful Connections is an adventure of exploration, discovery, healing, liberation, growth, and truthful expression, which is facilitated, amplified, magnified, and blessed really with grace. As graceful connections are woven between you and our expert speakers, your graceful guides to creating heaven on earth. So thank you for joining today, and whether you are on the live call or the replay, thank you for bringing your beautiful presence, the contribution of your unique vibration within the orb of grace. And today we're together for live intuitive readings galore with Michelle Holling-Brooks. First, let's begin with creating our sacred space. So I invite you to relax. Take a few deep breaths. Breathing out all that does not belong to this moment. Let's bring all of your attention and your presence here and now. We set our intention that our time together, all that is shared in words and beyond the words, all the energies that we call in and flows of our highest good, our evolution, and be of service to the highest good of all. You can decide to open your heart or open it even more and be ready to receive. And you can decide to open your mind or open it even more and be ready to receive. Remembering your connection to the center, to the heart of the earth, and your connection to the center, to the heart of the universe. So that you are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe, relaxed, and ready, and open to receive. Now I'm calling the orb of grace from the heart of the universe and placing the orb of grace around our group, our gathering, each and every one of us. That we be held in the orb of grace and infused with grace all along our time together. Let's take a moment to adjust to the purity and the subtle high frequency of grace, allowing it to gracefully dissolve, realign, harmonize, amplify, magnify all that needs to be so, in purest alignment with divine will and the divine order of grace. And breathe. Beautiful. Now, within our sacred space of the Orb of Grace, I'm delighted to welcome again our brilliant expert, Michelle Holling-Brooks. It's so wonderful to have you with us today again, Michelle. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Miss Sophie, for having me and welcoming me into this beautiful orb of grace of this Graceful Connection series. And I am super excited to be on this call and being able to interact and support as many as we can, get some liberation in here for this empath.
Yes, thank you. Liberating the empath. That's a that's a great mission, and thank you for thank you for taking your assignment to heart. So everyone, I've mentioned being with Michelle again because we've had a profound and truly fascinating video meetup with Michelle that was all about the empath, of course, the empathic wiring, how it can seem a burden or even a curse, and actually the gifts inherent to being so highly sensitive. So if you missed it, you'll want to be sure to catch up. You have the link on your webcast and on your replay page. And today we're all about intuitive readings to explore what belief system is impacting your divine empathic wiring. So to come on the line with Michelle, if you're on the phone, press *2. If you're on the webcast, click raise hand, or you can place your reading request in the Q&A box on the web. The question to ask Michelle for your reading is, what belief system is impacting my divine empathic wiring? Now, while you do that, giving you a bit of time to raise your hand, put your question in the Q&A box. I want to ask you, Michelle, are there any highlights that you want to share from our meetup or any key takeaways that you would like to remind everyone about that would set the stage for the intuitive readings today?
Yeah, yes, there are a few things that I think will be helpful. There's such really, truly, I had a little bit of feedback from certain people sending me emails and information, and they were like, oh, that call was so rich. And even people that I've been, teaching and working with for a while, one of them said, she felt like she was able to finally come home yesterday. And so that's just so huge right there, right? Like,
Yeah.
And that is the goal. So the empath, let's just do quick little definitions because everybody's got so many different definitions and all that good stuff of like, what is an empath? And the quick version of it is everyone has an empathetic wiring within them. The question more is like, how do we use these pathways? How do we utilize them? What are they there for? And what creates the sensation of them feeling more like a curse and a burden and something that's really difficult for us to wrangle in and liberating them so that they can run in alignment with their divine blueprint. So an empath, first and foremost, means it's an actual technical term for something that our system knows how to do. Everyone talks about that sixth sense, right? That knowing. And if you think of taking your 5 physical senses of what I see, what I hear, what I can feel and sense, what I can smell and taste, and then know, right? With our mental being, you just take that and just expand that past the physical senses. And then you come into both the seen and the unseen realms of being able to communicate, to gather information on different channels beyond our physical 5 senses. So it's like going from, it's like the evolution of like, at first I was crawling and I was first trying to just roll over, then I could crawl. Then I started to figure out how to like push myself up and pull myself up, and my world gets bigger every time I developmentally expand, right? And utilize more of my system. I learned how to talk and language things and work in symbolism and keep expanding and expanding. Our empathetic pathways do the same thing. We can see both in our mind's eye, and then even some people can be able to visually see energies and frequencies in the seen and the unseen realms. The same with being able to hear and to feel, so like that clairsentience, think of those clairs, right? And what the empath literally means is the ability to sense, see, feel, hear, and know what another being is experiencing from their point of view. So not from sympathy is me, say, Miss Sophie, you stubbed your toe, and I've had an experience of having stubbed my toe, and I can go, oh, Sophie, that's gotta hurt, right?
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, I remember, or
I'm right there with you, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine what that feels like. So there's a separation there. I'm projecting my own personal felt senses onto you and saying, oh, I can imagine what that feels like, or I've experienced something like that. So, you have my sympathies, right? You have my thing. And compassion says, oh, sympathy, like now I'm going to add on to that sympathy, and I'm going to say, oh, Sophie, like, is there anything that I can do to help you with that? I know how bad that feels, right? So now we've layered sympathy, and we've layered that I'm trying to help alleviate and tend to you and to work with that. So that's all great. And they're beautiful, wonderful things. An empath goes a heck of a lot farther. An empath, even if I haven't stubbed my toe, even if I've never stubbed my toe and I have no idea what that feels like, all of a sudden, if I'm tuned in to this part of my neural networks, right, all of a sudden my perfectly good toe that's hanging out, not doing anything, just starts throbbing and hurting. And I'm like, what is happening? Where did this come from? How did this happen? Then I get a phone call from you and you're like, oh my gosh, Michelle, you want to believe what I just did? And all of a sudden it makes sense because I was tuned into you, and my field was literally giving me a carbon copy of what your field was feeling, from a physical sensation to an emotion about that, to your thoughts about that, to everything about that experience you were just having happens in my system as if it's me. And that, my friend, is the sticky wicky problem with the empath, right?
Right, yeah.
So that's the base level version. And this is where people typically ask me, well, this doesn't sound like that great of a system. What's the point of this empath part of this system? Well, the point is so that we can tend to each other, right? So that we can support and work with the multidimensionalness of us. We're not bound by what we can physically sense, see, hear, and feel, and know. That I can connect with the beings that I'm in relationship with and connection with across all space and time, right? That's just not there. I can also deeply see and connect and express that love and that gratitude and that desire to support, right? And as we're starting to realize that we are a collective being, right? We are here to help, the rising tide rises all ships, like we are at the forefront of really helping to bring compassion and sympathy, which we can dole out to who we want, how we want, who we value, how we value. The empath really has the keys to the kingdom of truly understanding and honoring the sentience of all beings, right? Human and non-human, animals, plants, the earth, the elementals, all the way out, right? On all different fields and frequencies. And the empath has the ability to be that mouthpiece, to be that connection, and to have that ability to deeply honor and connect. So that's a gorgeous thing, right? We can truly create heaven on earth with that because we can deeply honor ourselves and others. However, the problem as to why my system might be running that literal, like I don't need to connect to you by feeling your big toe and my big toe, right?
No.
No. So why do we do that? Well, we do that as a way to survive. We do that as a way to belong to each other. So first and foremost, our empathic wiring is designed to help us have interpersonal relationships in the real, I don't know, like to call it the real world. What did we call it? The Earth School. in the Earth School version, because when we are little babies, we need another being. We cannot survive on our own, right? So we have to belong to something. And how do we get something to want to care for us? Well, these pathways is how it happens, because we want to take care of something that reminds us of us. So when we're little babies, these neural networks and the mirror neurons and our interpersonal neurobiology all mimic what we see and give us information into what the other person's feeling. So our biorhythms match each other. Our facial expressions match each other. We literally reflect that which is around us in order to belong, in order to see the other and see ourselves in the other, and therefore protect it. That's its first and foremost base level job. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for making it so clear. Yes, thank you.
And as we grow older, these pathways adapt with us, and they start to give us information of like what somebody's emotional state is, what is their mental state, what are the things they value, how do they hold themselves, so that we can, one, learn from it. You know, like I can watch you doing something and this boots it up as a carbon copy in me, so I'm not just having to watch and do. My system's giving myself true information, like transmuted transmissions into my cellular structure, showing me how to do something, which is fabulous. And it also starts to get a little mixed up in here. And so these are how we de-evolve ourselves from our divine empathetic blueprint of what it's originally designed to do. It starts to get mired up in survival and trauma adaptations, starting to mix, blowing out our pathways to really track somebody that we know might be a threat to us, but we're in connection with them, right? So if somebody's super emotional or, you know, can be volatile or something like that, we start to fine tune ourselves to track that person no matter where they're at, right? Across space and time. And that's so that we can get information of what we need to do. We also have adaptations that happen in here, and these are the beliefs that I'm going to be pointing out here once we start into the readings, that might say something like, you know what, Michelle, even though you don't agree with that and your heart's telling you something different, you need to comply and pick up a belief system of somebody else so that they accept you. And my field says, okay, I got a pathway to do that. And the mirror neurons and the interpersonal biologies and my chakra systems gather that information and plug it into my body as if it's mine. Well, that's all to protect myself, right? And to keep myself safe. And then there's the one, like the Swiffer Sweeper one, the one that says, you know what? I realized that when I showed up and I was around this person, they said, Michelle, I feel so much better when I'm around you. Thank you so much. And they leave and they're all like happy-go-lucky and they so much value being around me, and so it makes me valuable to them, right? Again, that sense of belonging. But what I realize is every time they leave, my shoulder hurts, my back hurts, my mood is totally shifted. What my field accidentally did with these pathways was just take that top layer of pain or sensation or emotion that was stuck ringing in their field, and like just like like a dusting, you know, like the Swiffer Sweeper thing, you know, touch it on up. And now it's locked in. You know, I like to use that one because that commercial, you know, says, look, it's locked in. It doesn't go anywhere. It's off of the surface or the beam that it was on, and it's stuck inside of me. And now here I am with this stuff that I can't get out of me, but a part of me doesn't even want to do that. It doesn't want to clear it or return it or do anything with it, because it says that gives me value, that gives me safety, that gives me belonging. And these aren't like conscious thoughts. These are what our survival networks figure out to do, because in the very beginning, this is what we needed. We needed community. We needed belonging. And as we grow older and we have more degrees of freedom and safety, and we start to say, well, that doesn't make any sense. I don't want that. The problem is our system runs survival first, personal level second, soul level third by its default setting. So much of the work of evolving the empath is reorganizing this hierarchy to say, okay, there's safety in what's going to come through my soul. So survival networks, we don't have to run this way. We can find belonging now because have more degrees of freedom that matches who we truly be. We can find relationship and connection in a way that honors us without having to martyr or self-sacrifice or, be an indentured servant gaining our freedom, right? And so it frees us up to utilize these pathways in the light, the amazing healing that comes to ourselves and to the other, the joy of connecting in this depth to the seen and the unseen realms, right? Giving voice to the beings that maybe don't have English or whatever language, like that type of thing. So working with animal beings and plant beings and insects, all the different beings, and I say beings with a capital B. And so that's what we want to free up. But if we're running ensnared to survival and trauma adaptations of what we use these pathways for to keep us safe, much without any conscious choice, then as we expand our use of these pathways, we just get more bogged down and more bogged down. And that's what we want to help liberate, so that you don't have to end up being like withdrawn from connection. You can deeply move into connection.
Yes, thank you. And I want to invite everyone, if you didn't watch the meetup, the video meetup with Michelle, please do go because Michelle's personal story is really fascinating and will show you to what degree it is possible. And I mean, Michelle, you're the living proof that this liberation that we talked about at the beginning, that it is possible, and that you know the way because you've done it. You know the path because you've done it for yourself first, to a very extreme degree, and you're doing it for your clients and with your clients, and now you're here for us. So thank you so much for bringing this clarity. I think you've perfectly set the stage for the intuitive reading. So let's get started. There are so many requests. That's wonderful. Thank you all for your interest. We'll do our best to get everyone served. Let's set this intention, and for that purpose, you're welcome to make yours a reading that is offered to someone else if it touches you, if it resonates with you, if it triggers you, if it gives you shivers or knowing, that's for you as well. And so in that way, we can be sure that everyone will be served today. And also, I want to let you know, before we get started, I want to let you know there will be a special announcement towards the end of our time together. So make sure to stay all along to make the best of this opportunity we have with Michelle. With that, let's get started. We're going to take a few live callers, then we're going to go to the Q&A. Let's start with Tiffany on the web call. I'm unmuting you, Tiffany. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Can
Welcome.
you hear me?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Whatever you can do, Michelle, that would be awesome for the reading, whatever you pick up. This is so cool.
Thank you. There's an echo. I'm echoing.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Am I
Michelle,
echoing
are you
now?
there? No, I am echoing. Michelle, are you with us?
I am, but I'm getting an echo too.
Okay, I'm gonna disconnect and come back. So do the reading, please, for Tiffany, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Hopefully this won't echo too much. So Miss Tiffany, thank you for your request, and let me tune in. So your field is great. And maybe Miss Tiffany, while I'm doing the reading, do you mind muting for a hot second?
I'm going to mute Tiffany.
Okay.
Sometimes it's all of us. We create such a beautiful energy field. It creates a strong feedback loop. And so it's sometimes something that happens on calls with me. So it's just that wonderful feedback of our systems connecting and chatting. All right, so Ms. Tiffany, your field is bringing me directly on into that solar plexus area. And it's a fear in here, and it's definitely a survival fear that's like trying to wrestle your empathetic pathways down and like be like, no, I don't want them to keep expanding. I don't want to feel more. I don't want to know more. I don't want to hear more. I don't want to do any of that. So it's like it's a backlash a little bit, like the feedback we were just having of that desire to expand and to work with these differently. And when I ask it, okay, what are we afraid of in here about expanding and allowing these pathways to continue to evolve in a healthy way, it's just a real fear about not wanting to reach out to others because it just always hurts. And so it's like a trauma response in here that says, okay, I don't always like to see them that clearly. I don't want to hear them that clearly. I don't want to feel them that clearly, because what happens in there is I always end up getting like hurt and disappointed, and my own desires and wishes end up disappearing. And this also has within it, Tiffany, an inherited line. So this is your personal experience, is that one of pulling back, but inherited down your father's line. These things often get passed from point to point to point to point, and it's just a desire to withdraw and like do the hermit thing as a way to protect oneself. And so there's two things that are happening in here. It doesn't want to accept help because it doesn't want to hurt. And then it ends up in a double bind then of not being able to move and take the information and the beautiful healings that I can see, like sitting at the edge of your aura that you've been working on, just wanting to come in, and they're slamming into this, which is probably what feels like you're having a trickle effect of the work you're doing versus a full embodiment of it. Does that make sense, Sophie? Or
yes, it does. Let's bring back Tiffany. Okay, there's still echo. I'll keep you muted. Tiffany, I apologize. Michelle, later on, we're gonna discover your brilliant package, Evolving the Empath, but would you please already scan for Tiffany which option 1 or option 2 scans the highest for Tiffany, so that she knows when we get there where to put her attention.
If you can, Tiffany, to do the one with the mini reading, because it will expand on this and work with that. But
option 1.
Option 1. Yeah, thank you. I was like, I don't know which one's which.
Option 1, the full package with the reading, if you can. Okay.
Yeah, if you can. It's not just the course itself is going to be huge to get the multi-layeredness of this, because again, all this shell effect is happening where all the work you're doing and trying to call this in and trying to bring this in is just trickling in like a little bitty trickle. And if we can help this shell feel safe to dissolve and undo this double bind, then it will, you'll find a pretty significant difference of a catch up in your field from the work you've been doing, versus the disconnect as to what your physical body is allowing to happen.
All right. So Tiffany, stay with us for discovering this option 1, as well as the announcement at the end. Thank you for being with us, and the blessings. Thank you, Tiffany. Let's go now. We're going to go to Cambridge, Massachusetts with Julie. I'm unmuting you, Julie. I hope we can have a clear sound. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
welcome. Yes.
Hi.
Welcome,
Hello,
Julie.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Sophie. I've worked with you a little, Sophie, in the
Yes,
past.
absolutely. I know. I recognize you. So, thank you for being with us.
I just pick up, my friends, if they're feeling sad, I'll feel sad. I don't know why. That most of and it's sad. I also am picking up, Michelle, a lot of entities, like earthbound souls
Mm-hmm.
that are not in body, and they seem to be drawn to me, and then I'll be feeling their feelings. And so I'm feeling the feelings of people I know. I'm feeling the feelings of people in the Middle East. I'm feeling, so I can use the muscle testing to figure it out, but I'd rather it just not come into if there's a way that I could like have a little bit more of an understanding rather than have it just all coming in, and then I have to always be testing, like, what is this? Is this my feeling or is it somebody else's?
I think you're in the right place, Julie.
Yeah,
So,
you're in the right
Michelle,
place.
you're in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm in your throat chakra, and our throat chakra does a lot more than just help us express our will. It's how we interact with the world around us. So it literally is like the hub for like what we sense, see, hear, feel, and know in here. And in here, what they're showing me is like this idea of needing to, how do I want to say it? It's stop speaking for myself and speak for others. And so there's a massive miswiring in here. That's why I think you're picking up so much of other people's stuff, and you have to keep asking this question. And because if this throat chakra belongs to other people and not you, you don't have a personal column. So if you haven't listened to the call or the video that I did, I talked a lot about this in there, so I'm going to give you just the short version. But we need to establish that you have a right to have your own system be yours. Because right now your system says it belongs to everybody around me but me. And so your voice, your thoughts, your feelings, your sensation, heck, your body belonging to you, your system is saying, actually, no, it doesn't. And which is why you keep getting hijacked. Does that make sense, Julie?
Yeah.
So to undo that, if I ask it, well, why doesn't your system belong to you? It's a multi-layered answer, but the first piece in there is what I have to say is not as important as what others have to say. So step one would be to hold that little one who I keep seeing the image of like a hand pushing a little version of you to the side and saying, you know, be quiet, somebody's talking right now, and just keeps moving you to the side. So you show up, you're trying to say something, you get moved to the side. You show up again, it keeps moving to the side. Eventually your body said, wow, let's just show up, then we won't get moved. Does that make sense?
No, that I didn't get. My body said show up because I have these young parts that, you know, they are trying to show up and tell me what they're feeling, and I'm putting them down because
it's your body is showing up but without a voice. It's just willing to be present next to somebody because then it doesn't get moved to the side. So it's only showing up like in just, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to support whoever I'm around, but I'm not going to include my own self in it, because if I do, that doesn't work. I get shut down. That hurts. That feels bad. And so therefore, ... Wow. So we got to help it undo that and then rewire you back in here, because it doesn't think it can be there without you getting pushed aside.
So it's like I feel the feelings, but I don't really know at all what it is.
Correct.
I'm feeling everybody else's feelings. So
yeah,
I'm not feeling my own. That's been pushed aside.
Correct.
So to shift all this, and probably there's much more going on that needs to be shifted for Julie, would you scan, please, Michelle, option 1, option 2?
Option 1 would be super beneficial for you, ma'am. And also when I'm going to share at the end, there's a little class that we're going to talk about here at the end. If you can do that with that one so that you get the energy exercise, I'm trying not to give it away, Sophie, but it's really strong for you.
So stay until the end, Julie. Yeah, there's a special...
The option I'm going to give at the end is what really wants to come through for you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. What was the option 1? And
Option one,
classic.
Michelle is going to talk about it a bit later
Okay.
on, so you'll
Okay.
have all the details. And stay until the end. The special announcement is going to be for you especially. I mean, it's for everyone, but it's going to support you very specifically. So stay with us and keep an eye on option one and on the bonus that's going to be announced. Okay, thank you so much, Julie. Thank you for being with us. Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go now to Las Vegas, Nevada. 6714 are the last digits of your number. I'm unmuting you. Hello. Hello, Las Vegas. Are you with us? Hello. Okay, we're going to go to another caller then. We're going to go to Atlanta Northeast in Georgia, 1371. I'm unmuting you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. What's your name,
Hi,
please?
thank you. My name is Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Hi, Michelle.
So, Michelle, are you with us? Yeah, here you are.
Hi. Michelle's head spinning probably.
Well,
Hi,
it's Kim. I'm assuming Miss Kimberly. I'm assuming that you would like me to tune in for the
do reading, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you assumed correctly.
Well, your field has definitely got a list, and I said, give me the top one of where to start. And so it brought me down into the root chakra, which I love, and definitely into the feeling. There's one of the things that I said online. Do you feel like you walk through the world without skin? This is your field. It says I have no outer boundary, and I have no way of knowing where I stop and somebody else starts. And so first, I just want to, really hold you and a lot of love, because that's a very porous, a very raw, and a very difficult way to walk through the world, right? And it's pretty much telling me this way you've been this way your whole life. And so there's a whole host then that says it's not safe to be in the world. It's not safe to claim my own boundaries. They're being constantly disrespected. That it even has like my body is the enemy because it feels like it's constantly betraying you. And so these are the first ones that we need to kind of really help soften, heal, and tend to, so that your true heart's intention can come forward, which is I have the right to have a boundary of me, and I can support the world around me. Like, we got to build all these yes ands in here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so, this, you just were born with your empathetic wiring up and running from the very beginning on a larger scale. And so many of the times, like the unfortunate human world is not designed for that as of right now. It's designed for it to be more closed, right? And so from the very beginning, it was just a lot of confusion in here. And we just have to help it catch up to where your beautiful heart is, where it knows the truth, and let the body then release the manual of this is the way Earth School runs, because it just now expects nothing but pain. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So talking about help and support for Kimberly, option 1, option 2, can you scan, please, Michelle?
Miss Kimberly, I feel like for some reason yours is wanting to come in option 2. And I respect that and I honor it. And I think it's because the readings, I do them in groups and batches. And I think that batch probably would feel a little overwhelming to you. So if you can get in and get out of those batches and use it as a time release, then it would be really supportive for option 1. But we want you to stay focused on you. If you got into those mini readings and not blow out into other people's messaging. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So if you can do that, then option 1 is going to give you a lot of time release support. But if you feel like that's like, oh, that might be a little difficult, staying in just the course and gathering the information and having that support and walking through this like step by step is going to be so supportive.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you, Kimberly. Stay with us to discover all about option 1 and option 2. Thank you, Kimberly. Blessings.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. All right. Let's go to the Q&A. We'll come back to take more live callers, but I like to mix. We're going to go, let's see, so many requests. Thank you for all your requests. We're going to go to the request from Karina in York in the UK. So for Karina, Michelle, please, what belief system is impacting her divine empathic wiring?
So Miss Karina, your field is bringing me into the throat chakra again. It's very interesting in here. What I'm seeing is this image of like a person just like with their head dropped down, and it's that got that emotion of shame and even like guilt, and when I tune into her, this soft little one, what I see is this idea that she feels shame for what she says or what she does or what she feels. And when I ask her more about what that's about, it's that idea of I can't match what I see with what I say, and I can't match what I hear with what I say. And so it keeps coming back to this discrepancy of not being able to match worlds, and then feeling a bit of shame around not being able to sense, see, hear, and work with the people the way they do, probably because she was shamed for what you are able to bring through. So step 1 is to help release that shame from your system, and to acknowledge that your inner knowing and the ability that you have to sense across beyond the 5 senses is definitely there. And seeing if that she perked her head up a little bit. And so I think it's already starting to work. And so to keep that going and starting to build confidence is what is needed in here to allow your divine blueprint to rock out, to do its thing.
Yeah, to take over. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so for Karina, option 1 or option 2?
Option 1.
Option 1. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Karina. Blessings. Okay. We're going to Cambridge, Massachusetts with Lisa. What number 1, what belief system is impacting her divine empathic wiring?
Yours is along a little bit of the same vein, ma'am. It's a loss of discernment. It's a loss of, it's like a doubting one in here. Like, is what I'm feeling real? Because everybody says it's not. Like, and that's even down to like, oh, I feel that you're upset. No, I'm not. It's fine. I'm not upset. You know, oh, I feel that, that you look so joyful today. No, I'm not. I'm not. You know, it's like every time you give a feeling tone or a sense or try to share that or communicate and use that as a way to connect, which is what these pathways are designed to do, it's like, oh, no, that's not true. And it just gets kind of shoved to the side in disbelief. So the result is now there's a lack of discernment and a lack of confidence in your own intuitive knowing and system, especially the clairsentience piece of it, that what you're picking up through your body being is not, doesn't match the people around you, where in reality is it does match. You're just hitting a bunch of their protective parts being upset with being seen, right? And so it's like that distinguish between, you know, validating ourselves versus needing that validation to come from another.
Okay. Okay, so can you scan, please, option 1, option 2 for Lisa?
Option 1 and that little special bonus that we're going
to... Okay, so stay with us. I mean, this bonus, yes, it's a bonus we're going to announce at the end. It's going to be for everyone, but for some especially. So make sure to stay until the end, because that's really, it's not a little bonus. It's like a big, big crunchy one. So delicious one. Thank you so much, Lisa. Blessings. Okay, we're going to go to Australia with Katrina, and I want to read the whole of what Katrina shared, because I think it's a very interesting perspective, and it might be relevant to others as well. So Katrina writes, I'm actually on the opposite end of the spectrum in regards to being empathic. I don't naturally feel empathy, and I have a hard time connecting to this feeling within me, which makes me feel like a heartless person when all I desire is to feel this love, this connection and care for others, for life, for the world, earth, and so on. So I would love to know what belief system is impacting my divine empathic wiring.
Yes, I really love that question, and thank you so much for sharing that, because this is the result. What you're feeling is a protective mechanism and survival adaptation that is like, okay, I'm going to block the heart being from coming in. And the law that governs our heart being is the law of sensing. So it's like the hub of the energetics of the empath, right? And it's what you talked about, like, you know, it's just like heartless. It's not heartless. Your heart is so incredibly full. And that fullness of that heart and that just complete willingness to be open did not go so well at some point in your life. And it's very much feels that it's like it's past life 7-8 like back ago, and it's a theme that is reoccurring in each incarnation since then. So it's like doubling down on itself every incarnation, and like I have to expect the worst, and I have to expect the worst because my love, my can be ripped away from me at any moment, and I just see this complete devastation of that in this lifetime, just a complete ripping away of family, of connection, of home, of all of that. And it was just crushing. And through that crushing, it's developed a never again. And then each lifetime has kind of compounded on it. And then some experiences in your early life has compounded on this as well. And it's just said, okay, never again. Let's just like bolt up this heart center thing. Let's have it not talk to us, and let's go all mental. And so I think the desire is a deep desire to, one, free yourself up in this line, but really free and reclaim the soul fracture piece off of there. I don't even have to ask option one. With
option one.
Yeah, because we want to be really tender with these rivets as we take them out, because it's also re-alivening pathways that have had to basically been, living on limp mode in here for a while. And so we want to be really compassionate and tender and supportive as we re-aliven the system to match your true heart's desires, which you can feel. So good job, ma'am.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing for you, Katrina, is that it's been going on for so long, so for 7 lifetimes, and in this lifetime, so that's 8. And now it's time for liberation. So yeah. Now is the time, and the opportunity comes. So make sure to stay with us and have a look at option 1. Thank you so much. Blessings to you, Katrina. Thank you, Michelle. We're going to Roanoke. Is it Roanoke, Virginia, with Rhonda? What belief system is impacting Rhonda's divine empathic wiring?
Hello, Miss Rhonda. I am coming to your heart chakra, madame, and in here it's just like there is, we've talked about this, that resistance, right, to like let the heart just go. Just let her light up. Let her light you up. Let her just let you experience your heart's desires. Let you share that voice, that unique perspective of yours. Just really allowing that to call forward how these beautiful pathways can be so supportive to you because you've experienced the opposite, with them. They have felt just crushing to you. They have felt that the messaging that they're trying to deliver and bring forward for you, of your calling, of your expression, has just been batted down so much around you that it's just a resistance. It's like the image that I'm getting right now, Ms. Rhonda, is just that the little kid who's like poking its head around the corner. Like, is it safe for me to walk around the corner? And like, I've walked around this corner too many times, and it just, there's a hesitation there. So if we can come up alongside of that and just be like, yes, it's okay. We're gonna take this one step at a time. We're gonna be able to stop and answer questions when we get nervous, but we're gonna keep moving one foot in front of the other, like you've done with so many beautiful things. It's to keep that going and to keep that evolution of that, and just really honoring that resistance comes from coming around that corner one too many times and getting whooped. You start to get a little gun shy, right? And that's just what's happening in this heart center. And so we just want to hold that with love and keep encouraging it to keep moving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Option 1, option 2 for Rhonda?
Well, I think if this is who I think it is, she's already in option 1. So welcome.
Okay, there you are. There you go. Rhonda, you're in the right place. So just getting a boost and a confirmation. And yeah, okay, wonderful. Thank you. Well, I think let's uncover the mystery of this option 1, option 2. I think let's make a pause. Of course, we'll come back to have you do more readings, Michelle, but let's move to discovering your brilliant package, because you're really offering tremendous support to the empaths. So with this package, Evolving the Empath, we'd love to hear all about it. So for everyone to follow Michelle, you have a button on your webcast page. And if you're on the replay, just scroll down the page. If you're on the phone, you can go to gracefulconnections.com/Michelle2. Michelle, please reveal what you have created for our audience.
Yes, I love this course so much because it truly is able to evolve with you as you evolve. And so it's divided into it's a combination of live workshops with online self-paced learning kind of mixed together. But because the live workshops match the modules, we do kind of move together with them, but yet this is here and available to you to work at your own pace, no matter where you're at, and then get the support in those live calls. So there's 3 learning modules that are the main bulk of it. And in the first module, we have to help the mind come with us. If we try to just kick the mind off the bus, it really doesn't like it because it believes it's our lone wolf protector and survivor, right? Its job is to help protect us and help us survive. And so we need to bring it with it, give it enough information that it kind of moves to the side and says, okay, I trust the system of what's happening here, that you have a plan. We're not just knocking down protective mechanisms and not replacing them with anything. So in the first module, we do just that. We help your mind understand what is an empath, what are the different types of empaths, what are the different systems that are designed for it? And I introduce you to the concepts that really what we've been talking about, and you've already experienced them in the reading so far, is there's survival level adaptations and shifts that we make that block our ability to manage these pathways in a healthy way. There are trauma adaptations that come in here and get us to totally shift how we work with these pathways and why we work with them. That takes us in a hard left turn from our divine blueprint, right? And then there's inherited ones. We've already talked about that one, sometimes from our soul level inherited from other lifetimes, and then sometimes down our genetics. So I share a little bit about that. And we start the concept that I call return to sender, which is when we absorb something in that Swiffer sweeper way, we can't change it. We can't do anything about it. We can't heal it. We have to because it's not ours karmically to do anything with. So step one of that first module is starting to be able to learn how to sort, to alleviate shame, to alleviate guilt and blame and feelings like, oh, why can't I just do this? Am I not doing the self-work, energy work, healing work right? I want to help alleviate all of that. And that's what we do in that first module. And there's a live call and workshop in which we do pretty much what we're doing right now during those workshops, where you can ask your questions and get some check-ins and tell us how you're doing on the practices. And then I do a healing meditation on those calls as well, based off of what's in there. They're all recorded, so if you can't make it live, you can write in ahead of time, just like with this one, and I can read for that and answer that questions, and you can listen back on the replay. So I try to get through as many as I can in the time allotted, just like this. So that's module 1 and the workshop that goes with it. Module 2 is the bulk of the course that you will revisit over and over. I have people come back into the course, do it again live with me when I offer it live. Send me random emails that say, oh my gosh, I just did the meditation in module 2 for this one. And I was so able to break free. So it's here and available to you. And this is where we really dive into helping clear out the survival adaptations and rewire it back to you, help to tend to dissolve, support, and unburden the trauma adaptations that happen in our system, and then start to call forward our true soul's wiring and network for you individually, and working with that. So that's in module 2. And of course, there's a healing workshop that goes with that one as well. Module 3 is super fun. I love module 3. It's where we start to play with the wirings of the empath. Now that we've unburdened it and we've brought more freedom and more liberation, it's how do we continue to support it, to evolve it? How do we continue to connect with different animal beings and plant beings? And how can we bring in things like sound healing and energy exercises? How can we continue to bring more freedom and willingness into our system? And that's what we do in module 3. And then there's a live workshop with that one as well. So that's the bulk of the workshop and healing course. Any questions on that, Ms. Sophie?
No, that's wonderful. So the Sacred Wisdom teaching modules, 3 modules with their accompanying workshops. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And each module includes both video and some MP3 guided journeys and a workbook and also journaling and reflection prompts as well. So it's a quite robust thing, which is why I say you can come back to it over and over. Take I absolutely believe in the wisdom of your beautiful wise one self and team. So you'll glean what you're going to glean off of it the first pass through, and it's there and in a beautiful healing library and tool for you to keep coming back to. As long as I keep that website up and running, it's there and available to you at any time.
Yeah, so we get the best of both worlds. We have direct access to you and to your wisdom and intuitive readings and everything that you offer personally. But on the other side, we pace ourselves as well, and we go back to where we need to go back and everything. So that's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the next piece of that is in the full package is you also get access to a beautiful shamanic guided fire ceremony and journey in which you can utilize that ceremony anytime you are ready to really release a core wound or issue or belief, and it's getting a little sticky. That fire ceremony is a gorgeous, beautiful ceremony that allows you to come in, call forward the elements of transmutation and community and support, and really allow that unburdening to happen in your system in a beautiful, organic way with that connection. And so that felt really guided to include with this because you're going to be doing a lot of that.
It's a go-to resource, right?
It's a go-to resource. And starting to partner with that elemental that is fire, right? And to bring that in, and I also bring in the other elements of air and water. and earth as well. And so it helps you start to really learn how to utilize these pathways to connect with these other beings and elements to really resource and support yourself and fill out that Wise One team, right? And in a way that you feel safe with and connected with.
Perfect.
So that's in that one. Then I have some bonuses that are available. I do drip the course. So the course itself starts live at the end of November and goes in through December. But between now and then, you have access to the fire ceremony because that felt really important. And then also the bonuses have instant access to. And the reason why I drip the course is because I want to be in that container with you as you're diving into, your system did what it did for beautiful, exquisite reasons. If it hadn't had done these adaptations, I truly believe you wouldn't have been able to meet the demands of your world around you. And so I honor them and I love them and I have utmost respect for them as we help them unburden and remember their wholeness, right? So I drip the course so that I'm there holding that sacred witness container with you, because sometimes it's really hard to hold that love and that honor when you're all up in it. And so that's why I drip the course.
Thank you. You're so caring. Thank you. Yeah. So all of this is option 2. All of this is option 2. Now, option 1 includes all of this plus
the personalized mini readings. And so these are the way that I was guided to do these readings for this particular course was to do them in what's called small batches. So what I do is I sit remotely. That means independently on my own. So I don't have to worry about people's time schedules, wherever they're at all over the world. And I call forward your beautiful Wise One self and team. And I read for you similar to how I'm reading for you today, of where they want to bring your attention to so that you can lean in and start to work with that. And I bring these readings come out during module 2, which is the workhorse of the course, and so they're right there with you so you know where to go as you drop into module 2. And you know what your field is asking you to start with, because again, we believe there's exquisite reasons and how to do that. But the interesting thing that came forward for this particular course was to do them in small batches. So I sit with the roster of the course and I literally am intuitively guided to who to put in which small batches and doing readings together. So I would read from one, then the next, very similar to this one. And there's always a theme and there's always something in there. And then almost always I'm guided to do different healing meditations and practices inside those little bundles of those small batches. And what I've had people in the past say to me is like, oh my gosh, Michelle, I still go back to that. I still listen to that. I didn't hear so-and-so's reading in there. I didn't even know they were there. But now when I was guided to go back in, it was like it was talking directly to me for exactly where I was at. So I like to think of them as like a time release, instantaneous healing support and guidance that you can have and have that and available to you as well to continue to support you as you move forward. So it's a very complete and whole reading, not only for where you're at right now, but typically where you're going to go based off of the other people's readings.
Right. So we get our individual reading and we benefit from the whole. So that's really wonderful. So that's option 1. Option 1 includes this personalized intuitive reading plus everything from option 2. And option 2 is the 3 modules, the Sacred Wisdom Teachings with their 3 live and replay workshops accompanying the modules, the Shamanic Fire Ceremony, and 4 bonuses. And you have all the details on the special offer page. So go ahead and look at all the details. And it is incredibly generously priced, I must tell you, with a 2 payment payment plan and even a 3 payment plan. And I really want to express once again all my appreciation to you, Michelle, because you're really stepping up and stepping forward in extending tremendous support to the empaths, Michelle. So thank you for that. And one thing we need to let everybody know is that this is the last time that this package is going to be offered at this incredible price, those incredible prices. So if you're up to it now is the time, okay? And yes, there's a special announcement. There's an extra bonus that's going to be announced towards the end of our time together. So make sure to stay with us because you'll want to know all about it. This is already such a magnificent package, but there's more to it. So stay with us. Thank you so much, Michelle, for having, created that and offering it to Graceful Connections and having kept your prices for us. Now let's go to do more readings. Now option 1 and option 2 make sense for everyone. So let's go back into diving into the personal readings. Let's go back to the live callers before we go back to the Q&A. Let's see if we can go to Las Vegas. So 6714, I'm unmuting you. Let's see if you can come on the line with us. Hello. I don't have a name. Hello, yes, welcome. Yes, welcome. Hi. What is your name, please?
My name is Gabby. Thank you.
Hi, Gabby. You're welcome. We tried earlier on. We couldn't get you, so I'm happy.
Oh, I'm so glad. I just missed that. I'm sorry. I'm so glad I caught you again. Thank you.
All right. So would you like a reading from Michelle, Gabby?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, Miss Gabby. I'm glad we were able to connect too. So it's very interesting, Miss Gabby. So the first thing when I kind of tuned in is you have such a strong mental being. It's so strong and it's so fast and it's so like, I got you, you know. And so because it's so strong and so fast and like so able to handle like so much information and all that beautifulness, it has a little bit of a separation then between trusting the heart center. And it's like, but I'm doing great and I'm rolling and I've got her covered. I'm her best protector ever. And so when we have such strong thinking protectors, right? The ones that, you know, use logic and reason, the ones that can figure things out so fast and hold a lot of information and pull them together. I have a lot of these parts as well. Sometimes the body's wisdom and the heart's wisdom and the other types of information get kind of drowned out. Does that make sense, Gabby?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so step 1, we've got to do a little bit of a reorientation in here of like helping the mind realize that the heart's wisdom and the body's wisdom are wisdom, you know? And so it's like there's a bit of a battle, a tug of war between the mind saying, I've got you, and then the heart being like, hello, I've got you too. And there's just so much intellect activity in here. It's hard for the heart to be seen. And when I ask, okay, well, what created this scenario in you in the first place? And it's less brain is what's valued. And so it's an adaptation because people can't push on facts and feelings aren't facts according to this system, but feelings are facts. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got it.
So step 1 is this is just a protective mechanism that was able to do it because you have such capacity in your heart and in your feeling tones and in your feeling sensations and connecting into that wisdom. It's almost like there was no way to communicate that or there was no place for it to go. So it just shut down that pathway and it said, fine, I'll move all of it over into the mental being. We just got to reroute it and put the worth back in there. But it is a protective fear, which means the mind thinks if it does this, it's going to leave you exposed. And so we want to tend to that and help it release that fear that you're going to be exposed if you pass the baton from the mental being to the heart. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. Okay. And so your course and work with you would help with that.
Yep. That's what we
Okay.
do. We help the mind
Yeah.
step back and make up
You're in the
for.
right place as well. Option 1 or option 2, Michelle, for
Option
Gabby?
1.
Option 1, Gabby. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
I
Yeah, I'm
appreciate
glad
it.
we
Thank
got
you.
you. We got you.
Thank you. Me
Yeah.
too. Me too. Thank you so much.
Blessings. Thank you, Gabby. Okay, we're going to go to Muskegon, Michigan with Destiny. I'm unmuting you, Destiny.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, Destiny.
Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes,
I wasn't
welcome.
sure if I was going to get on the call today, but I'm so
Here you
excited
are.
to be here.
Yeah.
Yay.
Would you like a reading
I'm
for
actually looking
Michelle?
at her package.
Okay. Would you like a
Michelle's
reading?
packaging. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Destiny.
Destiny Reed.
Destiny. Okay, Miss Destiny. Wow, we're going back into the throat chakra. Lots of throat chakra connections going on here.
Mm.
And Miss Destiny, it's really interesting. In here, I see a very young part of you, and she's looking up and she has a question and she's like, I don't know what to believe. And she looks confused and she looks overwhelmed and she looks like the information that I'm getting isn't matching and I don't know which one to believe. You know what I mean? And this is such a common wonky place for empaths because we get so much information and very little of it matches what we see in the 3D world.
Right.
And so she just really feels confused, and then she's worried about being teased. She's worried about being judged. She's worried about being rejected. So there's all these fears if she claims what she believes. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Because there is a part of me but what I've noticed is I'll have something going on and I'll sense her and I'll sense her confusion and this and that and I'll be like wanting to hold her and then I feel a sense of there's something else there that's mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, that mean, I think, is that teasing, right, and that pushing. And so one of the things that happens is when we blow into these empathic pathways, I'm really great. I'm going to do a quick little pause here so people can understand what we're going to do in the course. When we blow into these pathways early on, before we're taught how to have boundaries, that my system belongs to me, right? Then everybody else's system, the parts, their protector parts, their that some might be angry, some might be mad, some might be, quote unquote cruel, or some might be this, all of that we feel encroaching on us, but we've never been taught how to have our hula hoop, a solid boundary that says this is me and that is you, and your parts don't get to come in here and mess up my parts. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Yeah, and so one of the huge things, and then we're also taught that when we're, taught go give your aunt a hug, and we don't want to. Part of us are like, wow, no, there's a lot of anger or whatever, or but yet we are taught to override that because of what's quote unquote nice, all those different things. And so one of the huge things that we're going to do, and especially in the bonus one, listen to that one, is reestablish you. Your system gets to be you, and then the wholeness, all the light and all the shadow, is not so much pressure on your field because your field actually knows how to claim itself. We're just never taught how to do it. In fact, we're taught the exact opposite. So that's one of the huge things this course does, is it puts you back into you.
That's great.
It's time, Destiny. Which option for Destiny, Michelle, please? Option 1, option 2?
Option 1 if you can, ma'am, but if not, just come on.
Yeah.
We got it.
And get the bonus. Stay with us until the end. Get the special bonus at the end. All right. Thank you so much, Destiny. Blessings. Thank you, Michelle. We're going to Riverside, California, 0332. Unmuting you now. Hello.
Hi,
Hello, welcome. What's your name, please?
Layla.
Hi, Leila. Welcome.
What belief is needing to be rewired in my empathic wiring?
Hello, Miss Layla. I don't know if you were listening in the beginning when I talked about the Swiffer-Sweeper effect. Were you listening then?
I was, but I don't remember at this point what you were referring to.
That's okay. So what your system has learned to do is knock the edge off of other people's field so they're less emotional and reactive.
Yeah.
And if you can knock the edge off of their field, then they are more available to you and less of a threat.
Right.
And so your field loves to, because it definitely had to do this. Like they're showing me a bunch of stuff and I'm holding you in lots of love, ma'am. It had to do this. This was sheer survival. It needed to knock the edge off of everybody's field. Well, now that it doesn't technically have to do that anymore, it's still doing it. The problem with that is we cannot heal what's not ours. We can't clear it. We can't change it. We can't do anything to it. And so it's sitting like big, huge lead balloons of these reverberating emotions like rage and resentment and, you know, panic, anxiety, like control, fear. All these things are just sitting like lead balloons in your system and like lodged in there. And I see them mostly in like the root chakra and the second chakra. So that lower back area, in the hips, in the lower digestive tract. It's all just clogged cement in there, and we got to help break that up so that your system has what I call clean compassion, clean empathy, knowing that it can witness it and see it, but not absorb it. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Which
I mean, I know I do it. I just don't know how not to do it yet.
Well, you also are in the right place. How wonderful is that?
Yeah.
Which option, Michelle, please, for Leila?
Leila, if you can, option 1 and the bonus.
And the bonus. Yeah.
Thank you.
Blessings. Okay. Thank you, Leila. Blessings to you. Thank you. We're going to go back to the Q&A. Before we do that, I want to say, Karina, if you're on the line, I see that you seem to be dropping off the line a lot. I want to let you know that you got a reading. If you were not on the line while Michelle was doing your reading, make sure to go and get it from the replay. Okay? So with that, let's go to Austin with Felix. So what belief system is impacting the divine empathic wiring for Felix?
Okay, Felix. So yours is in the high heart area, so like right coming out of the throat into that high heart. And this is the hub that I find a lot of emotions get lodged in. And that fear energy, that of like, what can I say or see or hear? And there's a lot of fear around what I hear in here. And so there is just a lot of almost, I would go so far to say like dread energy stuck in here. And so I believe that when you were younger, you probably could hear a lot of different tones and a lot of different voices, quote unquote, and a lot of different entities, whatever you want to call them. You could hear the energetics in all the different range, the whole bandwidth. And so Felix, part of this rewiring is to help this fear dissipate and replace it with discernment and choice. And so that's the huge thing that comes when you evolve the empath, is you get more choice. You don't have to connect with everything. If you watch the video, you will realize that I really truly mean this, because I didn't know that I had the ability to discern and to pick and choose what I interacted with. And so a lot of your pathway, we need to undo that it had to blow itself out into its clear audience and its clear voyance, and give it boundaries that it doesn't know it has. So that's step 1.
Okay. And so which option, please?
Option 1.
Option 1, Felix. All right. Thank you. Blessings. Thank you. Okay. We're going to the UK, Loughborough, UK with Helen. You will know that it is for you, Helen. Please, what belief system is impacting Helen's divine empathic wiring?
Yeah, so Ms. Helen, you are bringing me into your third eye, so into that clairvoyance. And just that I've had to shift my thoughts and my beliefs in order to conform with the crowd. And then the slingshot that happens when you have to do that for survival and trauma adaptation reasons is then there's another part of your system that's creating a double bind that's like, okay, I can't therefore trust myself to stay true to my own knowing. So therefore I don't want to see it. Because if I don't see it, then I don't break my own knowing, I don't self-abandon, and then therefore, ... I don't have to get stuck in this protective dance, this do-si-do of like having to abandon in order to conform because what I see and what I hear is not going to match or what I know internally within me, within the environment around me. Again, so many of these wrinkles are young parts, so that's why everyone keeps hearing me go back there, because that's where we make the changes and that's where we adapt our field that then ripples with us all the way through. And then when we set the intention, like Helen, I can see you set the intention like, hey, I want to be in my own knowing now. I don't want to self-abandon. I'm not self-abandoned anymore. So why is my field still doing this? Because there's still a wounded part that we need to go find and call back in. And that's that one that said, I have to let this go if I want to be accepted.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. Which option for Helen, please?
If she can, option 1 would be wonderful for her.
One. Okay, wonderful. All right. Thank you, Helen. Blessings. We're going to Montreal with Noel. What belief system is impacting Noel's divine empathic wiring?
Noel, your system is bringing me into the heart. And I see such a beautiful desire to expand. And I can see that so much has already started to expand on the internal worlds, like working with the seen, the unseen realms of you. And however, there's still the separation from this life. And feeling safe to walk out and to be in that same level of connection. So it doesn't know that it can bring beautiful boundaries, that it can change into just gathering information versus absorbing. It's stuck. And so the hermit effect has happened where it's like, okay, I don't want to get used and abused like a tissue, so I just maybe want to just withdraw a little bit. So the next step that your system and all the beautiful work you must have done to get to this point is it wants to come back out again and start to live more life, like in what I call living, loving, and leading your authentic life. That's where you're at. There's just the fear in there that if you increase your ability to move out into the world, you'll lose the balance you've already got. So it's a fear of losing the balance you've already reclaimed if you go to the next step. And we want to help it know that it's going to be more than okay to go to the next step. That fear is not needing to be there because it was its experience back then, but it's not necessarily going to have to be its experience right now. And the way we do that is help, again, fill out that middle column of you.
Okay. Which option for Noel?
1 and the little bonus. I should stop calling it
and bonus.
Look,
the amazing bonus. I mean, it comes in many readings as this is your go-to. This is your first step, so it is an amazing bonus. Let's honor it for what it is. Okay, and let's keep the mystery about that. As we keep going through the readings, you're doing such a wonderful job. Thank you so much, Michelle. Let's keep going. We're going to take the request from Joe in Varna what belief system is impacting Joe's divine empathic wiring?
Hi, Joe. I am being drawn to the crown chakra, so that beautiful way in which we open up to our divine knowing and thoughts and feelings and inspiration from that beautiful soul being, and connecting that down to the heart chakra. And so when I look at that connection, there's like a workaround that goes from your crown, it skips the third eye, it skips the throat, and then it drops into the heart center. And so what your field is showing me is we want to sync these all up. We don't want to just be a pass-through for the divine. We want that central column to include us, our thoughts, our ideas, our inspiration, the way we're looking. And so we want to have all three, what I call the divine holy trinity, up and running, of you, yourself in this incarnation, your soul, and the divine. And when I ask the system, hey, how do we get this like workaround versus the connection between all of them together, it answers back to me, I don't belong, I don't fit in. People will always see me differently, and so if I can just be what they want me to be, this is the chameleon effect, then I'll be okay. The problem is what we usually end up being a chameleon to then is they're not necessarily their soul. We end up being a chameleon to their protective parts, to their shadow fears and worries, and how they've figured out to get a sense of control in an uncontrollable situation. So what we end up tuning in and tapping into is actually not truly their soul. It's like soul, quote unquote, like parts that are kind of wearing a costume. And so we want to rewire this to connect you into you so that you can then be you in every situation and get the insights and the information of the different levels of them. So one of the things that happens when we can evolve our empath is we have the ability to read people from, hey, I'm getting their survival level parts and protections. This is where they're at. This is where they're struggling. This is what their heart's saying. And this is also what their soul. So we get discernment to read across the levels of them, just like we can read across the levels of us. And your crown chakra.
Okay, which option then for Joe?
Option 1, Joe, if you can.
Option 1. Okay. Wonderful. Well, we've really done our best to make it possible for the if you can, because we've introduced the 3 payment option now. So yeah, we really want. And I mean, if you hear the meetup video, Michelle really talked about how much she cares to support everyone, especially before the holiday season and in these pretty intense times that we are going through. So I really want to highlight this and to honor you for that, Michelle, and to let everyone know that all of us have done everything we can to make it possible for you to liberate your empath and to live as your beautiful empath. We need you on your good side. So okay. Now we're going to Scranton, Pennsylvania with Mary. What belief system is impacting Mary's divine empathic wiring?
Mary, for you, I can feel, let me just start by saying I can really feel that you are really desiring to create thoughts and speech and the way you see the world to reflect this beautiful, loving heart and intention of yours. I can so feel that. That met me right there as I dropped in, and so I just wanted to acknowledge that. And everybody else, I could feel a similar thing. It just really wanted to be witnessed right there. And so then there's a bit of a backlash in your system, ma'am, when for some reason your thoughts don't match that. Your speech doesn't match that. Your knee-jerk reactions don't match that. It's like there's this slam that happens in your system that's really like an onslaught, almost like a tidal wave, when there's discrepancy between what your beautiful intentions are and like sometimes how you might show up, or even just the thoughts in the mental being. And so then there's a feeling of not good enough, like, oh, I haven't done my work, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And so step one, we just want to give you a huge exit ramp from that. It's because it's running too porous with people's things that you've absorbed. And so there's a huge need to just, one, return to sender, and then two, start to help your system realize it doesn't have to be that porous. It can understand what somebody's thoughts are, but it doesn't have to mimic it and absorb it and parrot it. It doesn't have to even entertain it. It doesn't even have to get that far into your system. It can stay in the information and not in the absorption, and then you're trying to override it and kick out a belief system that you didn't even put in there. And yeah, that's step one. That's where we got to start, because anything else is just going to keep fighting this.
Got it. Okay. Which option, please, for Mary?
Option one.
Option one. Wonderful. Okay. How are you doing, Michelle? How are you feeling? Are you good to keep going? Are you starting to feel? You've done so many readings already, so I want to make sure.
We have gone at a fast clip. I think I can probably do a few more, and then I want to make sure we save time to share about.
Absolutely. The mysterious, amazing bonus. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So let's go to New York with Alexis. So what belief system is impacting Alexis' divine empathic wiring, please?
Hello, Miss Alexis. This is a really interesting one. I don't think I've felt this one before. It's like what's actually like stalling out is the words that I hear, and I'm in your throat chakra, and it's like opening its mouth to say something, and then it stops. It opens its mouth and it stops, and it's like it's searching for a way that everybody can win. It wants so badly to make sure everybody gets what they need, what they want, and so it's like a caregiver, but like to the, I don't know, like 100th degree. And so it's just really, and it's exact. That's the word I want to say. It's looking for the exact right thread to pluck, to speak, to say that's going to create the perfect vibration. And so, you know, I won't say anything for Miss Sophie, but for me as a recovering perfectionist, this habit, this belief system can completely stall us. There's nowhere to go. We don't move anywhere. We don't do anything. We do not pass go, and then therefore nothing is created. This fifth chakra, when we speak something, when we allow it to vibrate and to oscillate and to move into the dimensions, is what allows incarnation and creation to go from thought to form, right? It's what allows the movement to go. So when this clamps down, nothing moves. So we've got to loosen up the perfectionist and the caregiver, but they are very strong.
Okay. Which option for Alexis?
One with the bonus.
With the bonus. One
that,
with the
that bonus is going to get the movement in there.
Already, right away. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Okay, thank you. Blessings, Alexis. Okay, let's take a couple more. Are you good for that? Couple more. Okay. We are taking the request from Denise in Mystic. What belief system is impacting Denise's divine empathic wiring?
Miss Denise, you're taking me into your third eye chakra. And there I hear a belief that I'm questioning this, because not questioning what I'm hearing, I'm already asking it. I dialogue with these parts if you guys haven't figured that out. So let me back down and say what it originally said to me. Like right off the bat, it says, I release what doesn't allow me to know and accept truth. And it was like really beautiful, clear. It says, this is what I'm doing. I'm just releasing this. And so I instantaneously asked it, well, okay, so then how is this impacting her divine blueprint? And it's like, it's so quickly wants to release what's not true, it doesn't allow itself to sort, to absorb, to let that that dialogue happen back and forth of okay, so then what is the fear? Why is this belief in my system? What is it connected to? Who is it connected to? We don't always have to do that whole dialogue, but there's a lot that happens in that dialogue, which is understanding and which is tending to the fractured, exiled parts of us that want to come home. So if we just quickly release and say, okay, that's not true, and I go, whoop, and I just kick it out of my system, my system goes, oh, wait, Michelle, slow down, because I want you to find this fractured part that's attached to that and its protectors. And so it wants a deeper level of healing versus the first swipe. When we're first healing, we have to do the first swipes. We don't want to slow down. We just want to get the trash can, get the dumpster, start kicking stuff out of our system that doesn't belong there. You've done so much of that beautiful work, is what your system's showing me. And so now what's left is some more of the core stuff. And for these ones, it's funny, in Module 2, I have a meditation that takes this one on. And I call it the bulldozer.
It's waiting for you.
It's waiting. It's in Module 2. So you have to, but the fire ceremony will start to help to be able to take this on, because the fear is if I slow down, I'll get like bogged down. When in reality, you're at the point of your journey where slowing down is exactly what it needs. It's not slowing down the healing. That still can go at the speed of light, right? It's slowing down to hear the dialogue, that if there's space now, there's room now to start to have that relationship with these different aspects of us and really tending to those soul fractured, exiled parts of us, right? And so that's what's wanting to come through for that one, and definitely option 1, because it will be helpful to have something that's going to drip the dialogue into your system, not only from yours, but from other people, to help get that next piece as it's coming forward while you're breaking this habit of movement, too much movement.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you, Denise. Blessings. One more. We're going to Switzerland with Sabine. What belief system is impacting Sabine's divine empathic wiring, please?
Miss Sabine, so excited to connect. So in here, it's a fear of being misused. This has a couple different layers. 1, past life. 2, inherited down the mom's line. And then 3, in your own personal experience of being misused for your empathetic nature, and also then that knocking off the edge, off of the field, off of others. Again, you've done so much beautiful work in this, so I felt like I could give you all 3 things at the same time, because they're all going to come back to that core belief that is like, if I really allow myself to step in and express the fullness of what my gifts are, there's a real potential for being misused. And we want to really hold that with love. And you've got your own version of what I used to have going on, which I called my science shield, right? It's like, if I stayed in this science shield and I worked with people and nobody had a clue what I was doing, how I was getting my information, and I just kept it in my protocols, then that was safer, and so eventually, though, it was the horses that challenged me to come out from behind that science shield and let people see the full breadth of what I could do, because I had established a whole different set of boundaries. So the reason why I had that shield was no longer there, but it was just a comfort level with that shield. And so we have to take on that belief. And step 1 is just to, do an inventory of really showing your system how it is different now. The boundaries that you have for self, the way it's just a whole different ball of wax. And this protective mechanism is a little outdated. So step one is update it and then see what its next fears are. Once you update it and say, hey, let me walk you around my life a little bit. This is how life is different now. This is how I've grown in this area. I'm no longer a people pleaser here or this here or that there. And yeah, we're always work in progress, but I think this one, if you ask it this question, how old does your system think you are? I think you're going to be surprised by that answer.
Okay. All right. Which option then for Sabina?
Option one, ma'am.
Option
with
one.
The bonus, I think.
With the bonus. Yes, we're getting there. All right. Thank you, Sabina. Blessings. Yes, now it is time to wrap up and to get to our special announcement, this amazing bonus, inviting you all to gracefulconnections.com/Michelle2 or click the button if you're on the webcast. And if you're on the replay, just scroll down to Evolving the Empath. Really, to wrap up, option one is the full package with the personalized intuitive reading, plus the course, which is the live workshops and the online healing course and the fire ceremony and the bonuses. Option two is everything but the personalized reading. And this is really the ultimate empath thriving program. So if you've been in empath survival mode and if you feel like upgrading to empath successful mode, that's for you. And I insist that it is incredibly generously priced with a 2-payment plan. Even now it's 3-payment plan. So seize this opportunity. It's the last time it's offered at this amazing price. And also, I want to say that even if you didn't get your own reading, I'm sure that by now you get a sense of how, with this package, Michelle will lead you to evolve from feeling disempowered or cursed by your empathic nature into unlocking your amazing gifts and your healing abilities, experiencing peace, finding finally self-worth and the remembrance of your true self. So, as we said earlier, you're in the right place and the solutions are offered there. Now is the time for the grace of abundance to flow into our gathering. So we've mentioned a special announcement. We've mentioned an amazing bonus. So here it is. Michelle is offering a fast action bonus available for Evolving the Empath, either option 1 or option 2, purchased by midnight Pacific time on Sunday, October 29th. So Michelle, can you tell us all about it?
Yeah, this is so fun to bring in there. So in module 3, I say, hey, doing daily practices, energy medicine, sound medicine, I bring all these things in, but I don't have the time to be able to work with you and do that. And so I thought, oh my gosh, how fun would it be if I added in a video call, because all the other ones are audio, just because, we are empaths. Let's create a little bit of a difference here. But by the end of the course, we have gotten some personal boundaries and some strengths and some new parameters in there for our empathic thing. And so I was like, it will be time to do a video call. And on this video call, it's a special healing workshop that I've added that's at the end. So it's a 4th gathering opportunity that also will be recorded and put in your course area so you can come back to it. I'm going to guide you through some of my favorite and Michelle special sauces, as I like to call them, versions of different Eden energy medicine exercises, because I'm a certified Eden energy medicine practitioner. Then also, I am also a certified somatic IFS, that's an internal family systems or the parts work, which is what we've been talking about all the time, and as a somatic embodiment coach. And so I never get to bring those to these audio calls because they're audio based. And I'm very excited to be able to bring those teachings into a beautiful video workshop where you can come online with me. I'm going to be doing different exercises, having pauses to where you can share what you're experiencing, even giving you ones that are kind of wanting to come through for you, like, a yin regulator flow exercise is perfect for you. And so really dialing it in, because at that point we will have made enough space in the system that now we can start to really work with that integration and that rewiring. That's when I like to bring in the energy exercises and all those other things, because otherwise, if we put them at the beginning, we're basically pushing a boulder up a hill. And your body's protective parts are like onslaughting back and saying, no, I don't want more peace, which is what the yin regulator flow does for us. Or the yang, freedom. It's like, no, that's scary. But when I bring it at the end, your system is ready to absorb that and to continue to work with it. So it will give you like custom-made exercises that you can put into your practices, that you can bring forward, that are movement-based, and also mixing what I love to call intentions and mantras with them in the way that I do them. It's kind of like the using those mantras as sound healers, but you are the sound. Your frequency, your voice, the instrument of you. So mixing those together, and that's what this little bonus is.
Yes, this amazing bonus, right? And it is an exclusive for this special offer for Graceful Connections, right? So it's titled Awaken Your Healer. That's energy medicine practices for empaths. It's a live workshop, of course, with the recording. And you're going to be equipped and skilled to support your subtle energy systems evolving and strengthening on a daily basis. So make sure to take action now to receive this amazing Awaken Your Healer workshop with Michelle in gratitude for your purchase of Evolving the Empath, either option 1 or option 2. Just make sure to purchase by midnight Pacific time on Sunday, October 29th. Of course, if you've already purchased, you receive this bonus as well. And so that's very graceful, very generous of you, Michelle. You're really giving all you have. You're really putting yourself, extending all you have and putting everything you have to support our empaths. So thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your consideration. Let's take a moment to breathe and to be present once again to the orb of grace, allowing it to remain there, holding us, holding all that we have received and experienced today, all that we are not even yet aware we have received, allowing it to settle in. Orb of grace holding us for as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all. And I'm closing now by giving gratitude to each and every one of you in the audience. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and to the calling to create heaven on earth by re-evolving back to your amazing soul's wiring, reclaiming your empathic gifts and your true self. That's really the true path of a way shower. So thank you. Immense gratitude to you, wonderful Michelle Holling-Brooks, for all the wisdom, the brilliance. I'm going to have to mute you, Michelle. I apologize, but we have echo. All the brilliance, the wisdom, the offerings you have gifted us today through all the graceful connections that have been woven with you and your masterful expertise. Thank you. Thank you so much for your generosity of heart and of time and of wisdom and all that you're offering to our audience. It's very precious and appreciated. Thank you. Gratitude to Christel Hughes and the Academy for the Soul for offering this platform in which graceful connections grow and expand, impacting our lives, our environment, and the world at large. creating heaven on earth. Gratitude to the Orb of Grace for providing a safe, sacred space for this journey of exploration. And gratitude for all the grace we are blessed with at every moment. Whether we are aware of it or not, it's offering all the nourishment, the nurturing, the healing, the revelations, the realizations we open our hearts to receive all along this journey. Gratitude to our higher selves and all the higher beings who guide, support, and protect us. And gratitude to the divine. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Until we meet again, many graceful blessings to you all. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone. And goodbye now.